So I'd like to ask you, if you could do something now in the next 60 seconds that could extend your life by 2 to 3 years, increase your energy, increase your focus and your mood, and even prevent heart disease, cancer, and diabetes, put your hand up if you would do that right now. All right, I want everyone to stand up with me. And I want you to, you've been sitting for about an hour right now. I want you to just stretch, like so. Go to the side. You guys are doing a beautiful job. Now, for the people that are at the very front row, you won't be able to do this exactly the way that I'm going to set it up. Now, I want you to just put your hands on the chair in front of you, okay? And be very careful about this. I don't want anyone getting hurt. But very simply, and if there's no chair in front of you, just kind of walk on the spot, okay? You're going to get a little bit of exercise. If you could put your hands on the chair in front of you, I want you to just step a little bit, okay? I should be seeing people's heads bobbing a little bit. Now, I have tons of room, which you don't, so I can jog like this. And if you've ever done a spinning class, you'll notice this is kind of like riding a stationary bike. All right, thank you for doing that. This is a little bit tight, but you did a good job. Now, why the heck did I make you just do that? Researchers and doctors are calling it sitting is a disease. And headlines are reading, sitting is the new smoking. Before I get into those ideas, I'd like to tell you a little bit about my own story. When I was 15, I looked like this. I was 130 pounds, and I hated being called skinny. So at this time, at 15, I made two really important decisions in my life. One, I wanted to be a therapist so I could help other 15-year-olds going through this awkward phase. And two, I wanted to look like this guy. So 10 years later, and many, many chicken breasts later, I ended up looking like this. Now, this was a pivotal experience in my life. I'm very comfortable with that being up there for the next 2 minutes. Maybe I shouldn't be. I wonder how he would feel. But this is a pivotal experience for me because I felt like I'd mastered shaping my body, which in a sense I did. And I wanted to share this experience and knowledge with others, so I became a personal trainer. And being a personal trainer allowed me to pay for grad school on my way to becoming a therapist. And when I finished grad school, I got my first job. And just like the first day of school, when you go there and they sit you down and they say, this is the way that you learn best, sitting down. My manager showed me to an office with a chair and a desk and said, this is the best way that we know for you to work and be productive. And I said, yes, I'm an adult. I've got my chair and desk and my phone and all that other fun stuff. 3 years later, I went from being 165 pounds as a personal trainer and grad student to being close to 200 pounds as an office worker. I was burnt out, overweight, and depressed, to be honest. And eventually, though, I got a new job, January 2012, working at a place called Integra, where I am today. And I work with kids with learning disabilities and mental health challenges. And on my second day there, a snowstorm hit the city. And it covered everything with ice and snow. And it looked exquisitely beautiful, like it was a blanket laying over everything. And it felt like it was going to be a fresh start in my life. And as I was going home that evening after the snowstorm, I was walking through this Green Pea parking lot, and there's a spot where there's this little hill. And as I was approaching that hill, I said, I know for sure that there's ice on that hill. And so I approached it, like I was tippy-toeing, like I was going to sneak up on this hill. And I said, you're not going to get me, little hill. But I think you know what happened next. I wiped out, feet in the air, butt crashing into the concrete, boom. And there I was lying helpless, the snow is falling on my face. Help, I've fallen and I can't get up. And, you know, after a while I picked myself up and I hurt my back really badly and I limp home. The next day I flipped through the yellow pages, not that anyone uses yellow pages like that anymore, it's more kind of like, doot. And I found a chiropractor, I saw her, she was very nice, she did a thorough body assessment, and she asked me a very peculiar question. She asked me, Tim, do you have to sit a lot for your job? And how many hours do you think you sit? So I did a quick calculation, and I said, maybe 12, 13 hours a day. And then she said something that changed the way I thought about health and fitness forever. She said, Tim, falling is definitely not good for your back. But sitting as much as you do makes your body tight and rigid. And I was tight through my hip flexors, my quads, my glutes. I was tight everywhere. And so she said, you were prone to injury. So then she gave me a sheet of paper with 4 exercises that I was supposed to do. And she said, you got to do these exercises throughout your day, 1 to 2 hours periodically throughout your day to break up sedentary time and to rehab your back. And I took that piece of paper and I said, ugh, work. Aren't you a doctor? Can't you just fix me? I'm a busy guy. I've got people to see, phone calls to make, meetings to go to, clients to see, paperwork to not do. And I felt self-conscious. I didn't want to do these exercises in the middle of the day, and I felt embarrassed or weird about doing it. Like, this does not belong in the workspace. So a month went by, and I saw this chiropractor twice a week. She was doing great work, and I was not doing any of the exercises, and I was not getting better. In fact, I was becoming more and more insecure in my body. I didn't want to lift weights. I didn't want to play sports. And even getting in and out of my car, I felt really anxious about. I hated this feeling that I couldn't trust my body, and I hated the feeling of being frail. And so I accepted that I couldn't continue to live and work in the same way that I did and expect to be healthy. So I took 100% responsibility for solving and recovering from my injury. And I also realized there's a gap between care, whether it's physio or chiropractic or massage, between the client when they're outside the office. There's no real support or accountability. And I saw that as a gap. And so I used my experiences as a personal trainer to organize those exercises, and as a therapist to figure out, was I really motivated enough to do something about it? And I was. I wanted to say good riddance to the back pain. So I started doing 5 breaks a day, intermixed throughout the day. I used my iPhone to time it and to remind myself to do it. And just a month later, the back pain was completely gone. My balance improved, my flexibility used to be like right here, okay? And now it's a lot better. And balance is really important as well. If you're going upstairs or getting in and out of your car, balance is very important. I never really focused on that. I was more like, I just want to pick up the heaviest thing ever, and that's great too, but then after that, I said, you know what? I'm going to bring stuff to work. Because I didn't care. I didn't feel like if health is a foundation for everything I do, I'm going to prioritize it. So I brought my resistance band, my kettlebell, my chin-up bar, my yoga mat. It's not always like this. I do this for the pictures. But this stuff is all in my office. And what kind of work are you doing in there? And I built a standing desk as well. 3 months later, I lost 15 pounds. I went from 200 to 185, and today, 175. So that's a healthy weight for me. I'm very happy with the changes, and I didn't really make any changes to my diet. In fact, I indulge quite often. But so I just want to briefly touch upon the research. What I've learned from talking about this is research is boring. People don't talk too much about it, unless you're in psychology and you love research. But the research shows that being sedentary is associated with all kinds of diseases, like cancer, obesity, all the stuff that I talked about before. So what exactly is happening to you guys as you're sitting there? Electrical activity in the leg muscles shut off. Your calorie burning drops to 1 calorie per minute, a third of what it would be if you were walking. Enzymes that break down fat drop 90%, and good cholesterol drops 20% after just 2 hours. And all sorts of other things are happening. Sorry, I jumped ahead there. So I had an aha moment, which was, I have 5 minutes left, by the way. I had my aha moment where I realized if the treatment for the issues of weight gain and back pain was doing these periodic movements throughout the day, then logically the prevention of those issues would be the same. And so with encouragement from friends and my wife, I decided to put together the MOVE program. And I've always been interested in entrepreneurship for a long time, and I believe that entrepreneurship has a lot to offer in terms of education for young people. These are some of the things that I think you can learn from entrepreneurship. Leadership, asking questions, teamwork, problem solving, public speaking, and making products and services that bring value to your community. Now, excuse me, so when I thought about doing this, at work, I thought, what kind of credibility would I have if I had never touched entrepreneurship firsthand? And so I want to share with you some of the lessons that I've learned from the 6 months since Move has launched. The first one is the importance of testing your ideas out in the real world, getting out of the building. And what we did is we ran 2 focus groups, and out of those focus groups, 8 people volunteered to be part of a pilot project, which they paid to do. Some of them are in the audience. And these are the results. Their cardio improved by 148%, their balance improved 130%, core strength, which was measured by the plank, 127%, and their upper body strength, which was measured by push-ups, 35%. The second lesson that I learned was, if you can't do something yourself, find an expert who can. And I knew early on that Move was going to require some technological support so that people in the program could be supported outside of the office. Outside of the doctor's office. And working with the developer, being able to say with no technology background myself, hey, can you add this feature? And seeing it actually happen made me feel a little bit like Steve Jobs. So the last lesson, the third lesson was, if you can do something yourself, do it yourself and save some money. I needed photographs for the manual and for the app, and I knew it was going to cost thousands and thousands of dollars to hire videographers and photographers to do this. So we invested in a DSLR camera, and these are the results. My lovely wife was taking the pictures. I was posing, because it's what I do. Yeah, so there's 2, I'm running it with 2 groups at Integra, and here are some of the lovely people doing the program. And they're young therapists working with kids with learning challenges, helping them to achieve. Also doing it with Free the Children. They are doing international development work and helping to make a difference in the world as well. So hurting my back was a humbling experience. And what I've learned is that pain and problems can inspire opportunities for growth. And that process of facing problems, converting them into opportunities, can be an enriching part to your life, like having the opportunity to speak with you today. And also those experiences really helped shape you into the person that you want to be. SIPO stands for Sharing Ideas and Providing Opportunities. Now, I've shared some ideas with you today, and I'd like to open the doors to some real opportunities. Whether it's actually being involved with helping people become less sedentary and more healthy, or the process of entrepreneurship and following your passions, please connect either with me or SIPO in general. We'd love to work with you. Move itself is going to need a lot of help because it's just a startup right now. So if there are people in the audience that would be interested in learning about what I do and supporting it with your own expertise, I'd love to know you. Now, the things that, of course, if you were talented and smart, that would be great. But here are some of the traits that I'm particularly interested in. If you're curious, if you love to learn, if you've got a great work ethic and persistent, and if you're open to experience, these are the things that I know have helped me in my life. And by no means have I perfected any of these, but that's the beautiful thing about them. When you can practice them and you can grow through them, and they can help you in your life. So if this sounds interesting to you, if this sounds like you, I'd love to know you, whether it's through Move or your own adventure. Thank you.